Yo, what's up? Bob here. Welcome to the Bob Bradley YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be getting into a little stack of records that I recently acquired from Ben Jones at Better Days Records here in Louisville, Kentucky. Ben called me, said, "Hey man, I've got a box of jazz down here. Would you like to come take a look at it?" I said,
"Yes, I would."
So we boogied on down to Better Days, and lo and behold, there was a pretty nice box of jazz. A lot of Cannonball in there, a little bit of later period Bill Evans, modern jazz quartet stuff. Not bad. There were a few gems in there that I felt like I needed to have. Me and Ben came to some kind of bulk pricing terms, and I started to pick some records. First one I grabbed was this one, On Riverside, Cannonball Adderley, and poll winners, that's Ray Brown and Wes Montgomery. Bam. I've showed this record on my channel before. I have a beautiful mono copy, but this one is stereo. It's on this kind of later 60s, really plain Riverside label, and I thought I would check it out because it is super clean. Nary a scratch on this thing. So had to have it. Grab that. Another record that is already in the collection, but in mono. This is a stereo. I have two mono copies of this. It's one of my favorite records. Know What I Mean? Cannonball Adderley and Bill Evans. Has this iconic cover. Cannonball with this strange sculpture next to him. Modern art at the time, I'm sure. This is also on that same plain looking Riverside label from the late 60s. Really clean. Possibly the cleanest copy I have. Sounds incredible. Now I know there are modern reissues of this that are very good, but I didn't pay that kind of a price for it. A modern, you know, the one from Acoustic Sounds or whatever is probably 40 bucks. Snatch this up. I have a mono of this as well. This is a stereo, late 60s, probably around 66 or 67. The piano artistry of Phineas Newborn Jr. It's a great record. I would almost say avant-garde piano record. It's not real typical bebop jazz. I wouldn't say it's outside, but it's definitely his own thing. I like this record a lot. It is on this cool green and blue Atlantic label. Yeah, pretty nice. Really clean. All this stuff is spectacularly clean. As far as no scratches, no scuffs, no ticks, no pops. I did have to give it a little bit of a ultrasonic therapy session, but after that, everything is just super silent. Seen this record like a million times. Always passed on it just because of condition, not necessarily pressing. This is a Liberty era pressing of the record. Of course, it is on Blue Note, high voltage, Hank Mobley. This is really in the Hank Mobley wheelhouse. Great record. If you like Mobley, you'll like this. There's some moments on here where these guys are really throwing down. Jackie McLean is on here, John Hicks, Bob Cranshaw, and Billy Higgins. And of course, Blue Mitchell on trumpet. It is on Blue Note label, the one with the funny little cutout here. Really clean record. Speaking of Blue Note records, I did grab this one. I believe this is The Amazing Bud Powell Volume 3. I don't have 1 or 2, but this was super clean. It was the right price, and Bud Powell, beast of a player. Here is that Liberty label. It is a Liberty pressing. Of course, this has a much earlier pressing because it is 1571. This is from the 1500 series. So those are very difficult to get in clean shape. So let's get serious here. Yes, I know I've bought a lot of records that I already own. Yeah, and here is yet another one, but it's a little different. Freddie Hubbard's Red Clay, right? Bam. Check it out, though. Promotional copy, not for sale. Yeah, that's right. White label promo. It does say radio station copy right here. Yes. Now, that's maybe a big deal to us, but as far as Discogs is concerned, this is actually worth a little bit less than your typical first press with the green label. That said, a very nice record, super clean, plays beautifully. Most people are all about side one of this record. Red Clay, of course, opens and it's an iconic tune, but B-side of this is just killing. You know, I've heard Lenny White talk a lot about how bad the kick drum on this sounds because he was not able to play his normal kick drum. And they gave him one of those kind of big kind of kick drums that usually have like a painted portrait on the front. It's really not a great kick drum sound. Listening to this, I don't know if this one's a little bit more revealing than say your standard copy or whatever, but Lord have mercy, the kick drum sounds absolutely terrible. But Lenny White is playing his ass off, so kind of leverages it a bit, yeah. And let's get into some of these final pickups here. This is a total blind buy. I don't know Don Sleep really at all, but I certainly know Jimmy Heath, Wynton Kelly, Jimmy Hobb, and Ron Carter. So when I saw this on Jazzland, I thought, okay, I can take a chance on a Jazzland release, especially a mono one on that early orange label. Yeah, this is pretty decent. Some of those records I overpaid for a little bit, and some of these records I got at a great deal. So this is one I got at a great deal, kind of evened out the money there for me. But this is pretty good. If you see it, definitely snag it if you see it for a great price. And if you see it super clean, these are, I mean, all of these records are just, I wish I could really show you guys how beautiful the condition is on these records. Yeah, Jazzland, great label, hard to find, especially in clean condition. Last one, and probably the one I was most excited to find, The Mode, Sunny Red, Grant Green, and Barry Harris. Booyah! Yes. Pretty great record. Awesome looking kind of classic jazz artwork, I would call this. Again, it's a mono on that orange label. Really, really cool record. Happy to have gotten this one. Barry Harris, you might know him from some of his like kind of music classes that he has online now, where he's just kind of a hard ass to all these jazz students. But he's also a fantastic player. Grant Green, of course, we know, and Sunny Red. Absolute legend. This is the Sunny Red record, The Mode. Yes. Super, super excited to have that. Though I have most of these records, still a pretty decent stack. You know, at some point I will go through all the records and pick the ones that I, feel are the cleanest and, most desirable records to me, and possibly move the other ones on to some other collector that needs a copy. So they're not really forever records. It's just, me playing the game of upgraded copies and different pressings and which one do I like the best and all, so on and so forth. Been putting up a little bit of videos on the shorts, and I put up a Greg Koch video earlier this week. Went and saw Greg and hung out a little bit. Greg Martin was there from the Kentucky Headhunters. We had a big old time. It was really great. Greg and his son Dylan, along with Toby Lee, rock the house. Today I'm sitting here with, yes, this 1999 Brian Moore custom guitar made in Brewster, New York. Spursel tuners, maple neck, very, very dark Brazilian rosewood fretboard, one-piece mahogany body, pickups by Seymour Duncan. These are P90s, yeah. Decaware knobs off of a Klon, yeah. A three-way switch. John Mann bridge. That's the same guy who makes the bridges for Paul Reed Smith. Little Superman sticker here. We have this unique plug for your cable here. It's actually up here at the top. That way, you don't step on it and unplug it, but I had a Brian Moore guitar back in 99, 2000, and it was very nice, quilted maple top and all that. And the day I got mine, my buddy Louie ordered this guitar. So I was there when this guitar was ordered, and he's had it for all these years and recently decided to let it go. And I said, yeah, I think I'm going to have that. This is a rocking guitar. Very, very cool. Kind of off-brand for me. I'm usually kind of a vintage guitar guy. Like this well beat-up old Telecaster right here. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that I normally play. But lately, I've been playing some more modern-esque instruments. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what's going on. All kinds of, chicanery over here. But, also, yeah, while we're here, the new Maker's Mark, what are they calling this? The, I don't know what this, wood finishing series, maybe? There's going to be 5 of them. The first one was the Heart release, and this one is the Keepers release. Yes, you might have seen this in some B-roll that I've been shooting for this video. The Keepers release 2025. Highly suggestible if you're into bourbon. All right, guys. Until we meet again. Bob out.